EPTA Regulatory News Voices. Conversations on the latest trends and regulations in commercial refrigeration. Here at EPTA Group Home, characteristics and details related to the structure and use of refrigerant gases are fundamental elements to be known. It is absolutely necessary to give a worthy focus to the regulations that impact the world of refrigeration, in order to do things in clear nets and rightly following those that are directives of the European Community. Good morning, I'm Marco Ferraro and I'm here with Francesco Mastrapasqua, EPTA Institutional Affairs Manager. We are both ready to open a clear parenthesis to the world of refrigeration and its regulations. Good morning, Francesco.
Hello, Marco. Hello.
So let's start with the European F-gas Regulation 2024/573 goals and measures.
Well, the F-gas regulation is pivotal in our sector, and it's probably the regulation that mostly is driving the developments in the market for new technologies and systems. The F-gas regulation is the main instrument of the European community to control and regulate the use of fluorinated gases in the different sectors where they are used. And we have a brand new regulation this year, because starting from March this year, we have had the adoption and started to be enforced in Europe, a brand new F-gas regulation that introduces new measures and new restrictions for the use of fluorinated gases in our sector. This regulation, of course, challenges the emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions of the fluorinated refrigerants. And therefore, on one side, introduces measures to stop using them or to phase down their use into products and systems. And on the other hand, introduces measures to control the use, like leak detection systems, like leak checks, like the extended producer responsibility for companies that place on the market more F-gases, and so on and so forth. So it's a pivotal regulation that we have today, and we are quite pleased because we consider this a real step ahead in the development and in the speeding up the implementation and the adoption of natural refrigerants, of course. Okay. And therefore it's very important, and its impacts on the market are multiple, because of course we will see products to disappear from the market, replaced by new products that use more sustainable refrigerants, like the natural refrigerants, for instance. We will have new practices to limit the problem of leakages into the systems, and therefore more strict controls on the existing equipments. It's a regulation that pushes on the training and certification of technicians that must be able to control the use of F-gases to avoid leakages and, of course, the direct impacts of these refrigerants. And for the first time, this regulation introduces also an export ban, you know? What is the export ban? The export ban is the prohibition to export some products that contain F-gases out of Europe. So for the first time, the application of this regulation will not only be inside Europe, into the boundaries, but also will impact the rest of the world, making it no longer allowed for European manufacturers to export products with F-gases in the future, which has, of course, a considerable impact on our economies and our business.
Francisco, what is AIM Act?
The AIM Act actually is the application of a similar F-gas in the United States. So we have the F-gas regulations, they have the AIM Act. The AIM Act more or less operates in the same way, so prohibits the use of F-gases on some kind of equipment, among others. And so it's, let's say, it's the correspondent, and also similar limits, similar restrictions than the F-gas that we have in Europe. Because we do not have to forget that phasing down F-gases is not only a European or an American target, but the whole world is committed to phase down and then finally phase out F-gases from the market. Every part of the world is committed to the Montreal Protocol and the Kigali Amendment, which require and challenge F-gases in particular.
So let's keep describing the other energy efficiency regulations.
This is the other side of the medal, you know, Marco. Well, we have regulations in Europe that also, let's say, give a direction for energy saving and for efficiency for our products. For instance, we have the regulations concerning eco-design and energy labeling that apply to our products, commercial refrigeration, from March 2021. So it's more than 3 years now that all our products, commercial refrigeration cabinets and freezers, have the energy label applied. What is the energy label? Is a clear indication, is a label that is supplied with the products that has a clear indication of the yearly energy consumption and the energy class of the products, which is particularly important, especially for the market, for consumers to choose the best performing products, the most efficient ones, direct their attention. And for the manufacturers, it's a race, because this is a very important competitive point. So everybody wants to improve the efficiency class of its products. So it's a very, very virtual path of increasing the efficiency all the time. And in the end, we want to have all our products in A class, of course, for the best energy saving. And eco-design means that, on the other hand, the worst efficiency products are phased out from the market. So there are precise limits, minimum efficiency limits, that determine if a product is allowed or not allowed to circulate in the European market. So at that time, when eco-design came in force, we saw products disappearing from the market and replaced by others which are more efficient than those, in a kind of race of all manufacturers and the market to privilege the best efficiency classes of products. Extremely important. So abandoning F-gases and focusing on efficiency is key for limiting, for reducing, for cutting the environmental impact of our products.
So I think that we must insert another protagonist in our story, the life cycle environmental impact.
Yes, of course, you are absolutely right, Marco. We had, let's say, these regulations, Ecodesign and Energy Labelling, in place since already a long time, and now we are already heading to new challenges, because we all know that the environmental impact of a product is not only determined by its energy consumption and not only depending on the refrigerant that we use. There is much more than that. There is the consciousness that the impact is also in relation of the materials that we use. So there is, for instance, a new view, a new direction of determining the environmental impact of products that is called assessment from cradle to grave. So the whole life cycle of the equipment is now the focus of our attention. And we have, for instance, LCA, which is a value, it's an assessment that qualifies our products and evaluates, keeps in consideration all the impacts of our products from cradle to grave. So if we are using materials that are recycled, if these materials can be recycled after their use when the product ends its life, the impacts of these materials in the environment during the manufacturing, the use and the dismantling of the equipment, and all these aspects, so that globally environmental impact of the product is now the focus of new regulations that will, for sure, sooner or later, make it mandatory for the companies to apply a new extended digital product passport to our products. That will be a new document replacing the energy labels that will tell much more about the environmental impact of products, including their origin, their use, their lifetime, their duration, the way we can act let's say, in maintenance and servicing to extend the product life, make products that can virtually be used forever, as long as possible, and of course introduce obligations for the recovery of the materials at the end of the life. Okay. This is all to avoid any waste and minimize the impact of products in the environment. This is the new frontier. This is what we are already looking at.
Okay, so close to catch it. Okay.
Yes.
I would like you to comment these shifts about these specific terms, from life cycle climate performances to life cycle assessment to environmental product declaration and digital product passport.
Well, we are talking about terms that are indexes, parameters, key parameters that describe, let's say, the environmental impact from different points of view. An LCA, a life cycle assessment, is an assessment to measure, determine, and clarify and certify all the impacts of the product from cradle to grave. We may hear about LCCP, which has to do only to the climate impacts of the products, so carbon emissions, for instance. EPD is, let's say, a global document including the LCA and more information about the product that is introduced by, let's say, it's now circulating in many markets, for many products already. Mm-hmm. And this is a document that should, in the future, accompany all our products, where customer can really see all the impacts, can choose the best products, can determine what is the good product for its own climate ambitions, because we are climate ambition enablers for our clients. Okay. So we want to help them and accompany them to meet their targets. Okay. And the key information is in the EPD, in the Environmental Product Declaration, which is, let's say, makes it possible to see all the elements in a simple document in the end that we are getting ready to have for all our products, which is the new frontier of development and the new innovation frontier for companies like EPTA.
Okay. I would like to thank you, Francesco, for your words, for your thoughts, for your knowledge, and for sure to have combined our words in this speech. So, see you next time.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.